Hi guys, it is Monday again, and that means another From the Notebook video, and I am so pumped to be able to talk about a first for me. This doesn't happen a lot because I read a lot of books, I read a lot of versions of books, I read a lot of different things, although, you know, when I have my druthers it's YA, but whatever. I have finally listened to my first audiobook. The book in question is The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer, and this is Michaela and I's Pop Sugar Challenge pick for a self-improvement book. Michaela picked the book. I had not heard of Amanda Palmer up until this point, and she was like, you know, we should do that thing now so we can film a review. We did film the review earlier on today, so this is not necessarily a review of the book, more as my feelings about the practice and process of listening to an audiobook. So you can stay tuned for that review coming soon. I was not planning on listening to the audiobook for this. I was planning on reading the book. My library had the print ebook and the audiobook to lend. And of course, I'm a print girl, so I assumed that that is what I would be doing. I can read faster than I can listen to a book. And Michaela said to me, no, you should really read the audiobook or listen to the audiobook because Amanda Palmer plays some of her music in between chapters because Michaela had already started listening to her audiobook. And I was like, I mean, you know, whatever. I really didn't feel that strongly about it, but I figured that it might be a cool way to get into the audiobook thing. I was really ambivalent towards it. I knew that it would be a lot slower than my reading, which I don't like because I don't have a lot of time to listen to things, and The Art of Asking was about 12 hours at normal speed. Michaela listens to audiobooks at 3 times. I did not. I listened to this one at normal speeds. And here's what I found out. I love listening to audiobooks. While I had my issues with the book itself, and I was worried that I was negatively thinking about the pacing of the book because of how slow the book felt moving to me, because usually I read so fast, I love the actual experience. I have been so busy, and reading is just this eye strain that when I have downtime, half the time I just want to be in my bed, you know, relaxing. I really just couldn't come up with a mental capacity to read. And so with audiobooks, I just put in my earbuds and I closed my eyes, and it was everything that I could have wanted. And I think I was definitely spoiled by the music and the personal tone of The Art of Asking. I don't know exactly how that would be in another book, but it was just such a great experience. I did not listen to it on 3 times speed. I listened to it on normal speed because Amanda's reading voice kind of mumbled and got very quiet sometimes, and I couldn't understand what she was saying, and I figured that if I sped it up then I would completely lose the train of thought. But I am interested in trying that. I don't know how it's going to affect the reading experience, but the audiobook for me was a way that forced me to slow down and to just relax and listen and just engage with the book that way. And that was really, really interesting, and I really loved it. I don't know really where my deep set fear of audiobooks came from before this point. I think it maybe really just might have been a speed thing. And also, I am a person who loves the feel of a physical book in my hand. That's one of my favorite parts of reading, really, is the page turning. And with an audiobook, as with an ebook, there isn't that tactile sense of feeling. And I thought that that would really bother me. And it certainly wasn't the easiest thing to get used to in the beginning because I didn't know where I was in the book. I didn't know what chapter I was on. I didn't know where I was, like in a spatial sense, and that was weird for me. But I loved being able to just relax and still be able to read. And then I also, while I was doing some other mindless things, I had the earbuds in and I was listening, and I was able to do more than one thing at once, because when you're reading a book, it really is just reading a book. And this allowed me to do a couple of things at once, which isn't my favorite thing to do while I'm reading, but that's how life is. You can't always dedicate a certain amount of time to one thing. So all in all, I am super excited to get another book on audio. I think that my next book will either be Tina Fey's Bossy Pants or Amy Poehler's Yes Please. because I think that they are more audiobooks that are really be a performance rather than just listening. And maybe that's not quite the reason to read audiobooks, because if at any time I go and listen to an audiobook that's just normal, I might get confused. But I'm really, really excited to get into those and maybe expand from there. Because like I said, I'm trying to read The Subtle Knife right now for a book club episode that's coming out tomorrow if we can all get it together. And reading is just, it's too much for me right now. My life is really busy and it's really exhausting. I'm working 10 to 12 hours a day and it's just, it's a thing. So audiobooks are definitely what I need in my life right now. I'd be really curious to know what the first book that you listened to on audio was and what your experience was with it. If you learned to love audiobooks after, a not so great experience, or if you still haven't read any audiobooks and want to get into it, just, talk about audiobooks and pros and cons down in the comments. And if there are any good books on audio that you think I should listen to, please let me know. I love recommendations, love making that TBR longer. So thanks guys. Bye.